Greetings. My name is Dr. Waddell Brooks, Sr., your host, and this is Community Forum. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking with a young man with a stage name of John Doe, and I'll be referring all during the program for John Doe. Okay? Greetings, John Doe.
Hello.
Thank you very much for taking time, literally from your busy schedule, to be with us on Community Forum to let Lake County know who you are. By the way, if you have not been known all over the world, you will be after this program, because our audience can go to drbrooks.tv and they could watch the program. It doesn't matter whether it's in Hawaii, Australia. This technology is really something else now. But we want to talk to you because you're a person that Lake County should know. Ladies and gentlemen, John Doe is a senior at Southern Adventist University in Collegedale, Tennessee. Mm-hmm. And he volunteered to be on Community Forum to tell us all about the work that he's doing. First of all, I'd like for you, John Doe, to tell our listening audience a little bit about your personal and professional background.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you for having me, Dr. Brooks. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Okay.
So yeah, as you said, my stage name is John Doe.
Okay.
I am 25 years old from Waukegan. And as you said, I'm senior at Southern Adventist University. I am studying music performance and international studies with a German emphasis. And I am planning on teaching English in a German-speaking country for a few years, and also choral activities.
Well, tell our listening audience, how did you get involved with music?
So, wow, that's a very loaded question. Well, I grew up with a very, very musical family. My mother and father had me take piano lessons when I was 3. And since then, I've been in my church choir singing. I took guitar lessons for a few months. I also have learned how to play the ukulele from a year abroad that I did to teach. And I'm also studying music at my university, and so I'm in choral activities there. And I've had several opportunities to have solos or to just be in the choirs offered at my university. And I've also written a lot of music as well. And that's just a little bit about my background.
Well, we're going to get into it during the program. But is my understanding that you are a vocalist, you do piano, and also ukulele?
Yes,
Sure.
that is correct.
But tell us about your your church has impacted on your desire for music as a career.
Yes.
I understand your church is, what is your?
I go to Shalem Seventh-day Adventist Church in Waukegan. I grew up singing in the choirs there, like the youth choir, the young adult choir. And so singing has been a really big part of my experience at the church. And because of that, I've wanted to sing more and more, whether it's in a group setting or in a solo setting. And they've also helped me go to Southern to even study music for vocal emphasis. And so I think that's been a really big part of the reason why I've chosen to do a lot of music stuff, for my life.
Now, did you get a scholarship for the Southern University, Southern Adventist University, or did you just chose to go down there?
I've gotten several scholarships from going to Southern, yes. I've gotten scholarships from the department, scholarships for my grades and test scores from high school. The church has also given me scholarships to go to Southern. and yeah, just several scholarships that I've gotten.
Tell us about, it's interesting, tell us about the ukulele. And if I had known you play ukulele, I would invited you to bring it down to play a tune with us there. But tell us, how did you get involved with ukulele?
So I was teaching for a year on the island of Pohnpei. Not Pohnpei, that's affiliated with Italy, but it's an island in the Pacific Ocean.
Okay.
And I was teaching there for a year, and one of my students taught me how to play the ukulele because it is a very island-oriented instrument.
Okay.
And I learned in 5 to 10 minutes because it's a very easy instrument, but I think I'm also a very fast learner. And I had a good teacher, so that was my involvement.
Fantastic. Well, Chelsea, how important family has been in your life?
Very important. Very, very, very important. I grew up with both of my parents, and I have 2 siblings, DeAndre and Tia. And then I also grew up living with my mother's mom in the house. And so just having the close-knit feeling of when you come home, that's another thing too. I've never moved. So just knowing that like this is my home, like this is my home base, it's been very important to me as I've grown up, and yeah. So
you mentioned you've been singing and writing music since you were, I guess, 3 years old, I guess, huh?
Something like that, yeah, as far as I can remember.
So it's just a part of you.
It's literally just a part of me.
Yeah. What does music do for the soul? You know, evidently the Bible speaks a great deal about music, and but it plays a great part in your soul. Right?
Yeah, I have to agree. I think it's a very healing experience to be involved in music in some form, whether you're singing or playing an instrument or even just listening. It's a balm that many people have the opportunity to indulge in, and I think that it's something that's very important anywhere that you go, because I think it's a universal language that people can communicate with, whether you speak the same language or not. Music is universal, and I think that's very important.
Well, we want to not forget about the adjustment that any student has to make from high school to college. You know, tell us about the adjustment that typically students have to make.
Well, especially now, I feel like it's a lot harder in many ways because there are different kinds of secondary education that you can go into, and then from there you choose which kind of college you will go to. And for instance, I went to a boarding academy my last 2 years of high school, and it was an Adventist boarding academy. And in turn, I chose to go to another Adventist institution for university level because it felt more comfortable, and I understood a lot of the principles that were being taught there because I am an Adventist and because of just the background that I have in that. But it's different if you go to like a public education institution, or you know, stuff like that, or just another private institution. And so with that being said, or sometimes if you go from one specific kind of education to another, like if you're going from a public to a private, that's also really different. You have to get used to those kinds of adjustments there. So just the expectations are a lot different in all of the forms of education, and so you have to just kind of watch out and know what you're getting yourself into.
I watched my 3 youngsters get involved in early life, like you did, in learning piano, and they all three are now, and they're retired, and they still, using piano, and my oldest daughter uses oboe, and
Beautiful instrument.
of course my youngest daughter, the director of the choir, she decided to sort of go instrumental. She went with the choir. So it's something special about music. I don't know. The wife and I can't hold a tune, but we love music though, but we just can't perform, in college though, as very consuming and practicing and so forth, it's time consuming though.
Of course, but because I am a music major, it's a part of my degree, and so it's a lot easier for me to practice and hopefully learning to get better during those practices, because that's what I'm studying to do and studying to give to my students in the future. Whereas I know a lot of my other friends are studying other subjects, but they still want to be involved in music, so it's a lot harder for them to practice because they're so busy studying something else, another subject matter, instead of not, I wouldn't want to say just music, but instead of studying music for their career later on. They're doing it because they love it, and not because they're doing it because they love it enough to do it later on in life.
Well, your ultimate career, your ultimate goal is a career in music. What is it, teaching or what?
So I have two.
Yeah. Okay.
So I've been publishing some of my original music this year because I finally felt pretty confident about it. But I also would like to study to be a teacher. That's what I'm doing now, and so I would like to be a teacher in a university or secondary education level. And then I also would like to teach English. I believe that that's a very good thing to teach, and it helps all around the world. It's a benefit all around the world. So,
tell us, our listening audience, a little bit about some of your accomplishments.
Yes. So I have been to 23 countries in the last 7 years. I am fluent in 3 languages and counting. I have done a lot of mission work recently. In the last few years, just going to different countries and assisting them, just to name a few.
Well, how did you get involved with the different countries?
So I've done a study abroad program in Germany for a school year. It was 2017 to 18, and that's actually how I am fluent now in German. But I also have done mission work, as I said earlier, in Pohnpei. I've done choir trips to Europe, and what have you.
Now, you in your musical career in college, I know my son played for several churches too. Do you get involved in playing for several churches while you're in college, or I'm just thinking about Seventh-day Adventist Church. You play for them while you're here. Is that the only church that you play for?
So when I'm at home, I'm usually just singing in the choir.
You singing too? Okay.
Yes, if I know about the performance or what have you. But down at Southern, I am in the choirs there, and so we're singing. I wouldn't say almost every weekend, but we're singing quite a bit, like at least twice a month. And so I'm involved in that way, and I'm also playing piano or singing for several services that they have to, like on Friday evenings to welcome in the Sabbath, or a Saturday afternoon when they're trying to close the Sabbath. So,
what is unique about the Seventh-day Adventists? You know, as you probably heard this many times, there are approximately 3,000 denominations in the world.
Yeah.
But why is, now I'm Baptist because my family.
Mm-hmm.
And then I grew to get acquainted with the Bible, and I say, well, I guess I'm on the right track. But 3,000 denominations, but why Seventh-day Adventist?
So this has actually been kind of a question that I've been asking myself recently as well, because I don't believe in people blindly following, anything.
Yeah.
So, when I was growing up, I was raised Adventist because my mom was Adventist, and then my dad became Adventist later on in my life. But I've come to know for myself that Adventism is the best for me because of the Sabbath teachings of Friday to Saturday sundowns, and the health message, just all of the fundamental beliefs that we have, the state of the dead, stuff like that, that I know I can find in the Bible and feel confident that this is what God is trying to show me to believe, that He's convicting me of.
Okay, so that you have received great support then from your church then, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. They've taught me so much, and they've definitely shown me what I know now today to be right for myself, and how to go about sharing that with other people.
Now, you mentioned about you attending the Southern Southern Adventist University. Now that's a church for the believers in Adventists.
It's not strictly for Adventists.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Because there are several people who are either atheists or of other denominations that go to our school. Yeah, it's not simply for just Adventists.
Well, what's unique, definitely unique about the teachings at the Adventist University, different from other universities?
So we have like a Vespers program and a convocation program, which, so Vespers is when we go to the church on Friday night to welcome in the Sabbath, and that in turn is teaching those who don't maybe know about the religion, about what we believe, because for us Sabbath starts on Friday night and it ends Saturday night, and so we have a program to welcome the Sabbath in with music and a sermon. It's kind of like a mini church service at night on Fridays. And then convocations are other departmental events so that students can learn more about what's going on campus or what's going on in the world. Like they'll have a guest speaker come in who is semi-famous or even famous and talk about like a topic that we don't necessarily talk about enough or we don't know about enough because we don't have like access to a whole lot of news. Unless you're on your phone on Twitter or on CNN or something. So they bring people to talk about those things. And I think that that's pretty unique because I think other universities may do stuff like that here and there, but it's more of a requirement at Southern, so that way you can know what's going on and not be blinded or blindly just going about your day. Like they make us go and do these things.
Well, what about the youth participation? Do you, in most churches that I attend, there is a youth drop-off for some reason. Do you have a high participation of youth in the church?
I would say so for sure,
Okay.
especially with the school being in the Bible Belt of the United States.
Okay.
There are a lot of people who are very passionate about God and wanting to stay in the church, to see the changes that they want to see instead of just leaving and being bitter. And I think that's really cool. A lot of my friends are actually studying to be pastors, or they are pastors right now currently, and they are trying to show what they feel like the church should look like and trying to make the moves to go about that. And so I think that that's really awesome.
What about community contributions? Your church do a lot of work in the community.
Absolutely. Especially at Southern, we have a lot of outreach opportunities that we are able to use. There's a place where they're doing stuff with kids kids in the inner cities, and
Cool.
I think that's really awesome. There's also a lot of outreach for senior citizens in homes with music. Actually, my voice teacher leads one of those out. She goes and plays the piano and sings for those in those homes, and so I think that that's something that's really cool. They have other opportunities on Martin Luther King Day, where we'll go and feed the homeless or distribute clothing to those in need, and I think that that's really important. And then also our mission work, whether it's domestic or abroad, is very, very important, especially at Southern, but also in the Adventist Church. But I would say specifically at our universities, they really make sure that students know that that's an opportunity for them.
What about employment opportunities available in your field? Is it more? Is like you're independent in success, or what about opportunities for music for youngsters that maybe graduate from high school?
Yeah, I would say that it's pretty promising. You're able to teach in a high school or an elementary school for sure, but definitely also too on the university level, teaching voice lessons or teaching an ensemble like orchestra or choir or brass or wind symphony, anything along those lines. Southern has been pretty good about making sure that their students get jobs, and especially for me wanting to teach ESL, that's actually a better opportunity for me, because there are so many people looking and seeking out English teachers, and not only in the States but for sure abroad. And so I've secured pretty good job opportunities with having both, because it's something that I love, and then people will take that, but it's also something that people need for both, like with music and for English. And so,
what about the opportunities overseas? I know you had a love for your trips overseas and so forth. Would you like to get involved overseas teaching?
That's actually what I would like to do as soon as I graduate from Southern, is teach abroad. And I know that it would be fairly simple to get the jobs that I'm looking for, especially in ESL, because there's a need for wanting to learn English. And I think another thing too is that it's so rare, I feel like, to see someone of color abroad teaching English, and I feel like that would be kind of something that is kind of more marketable. But also too, wanting to teach English to those who's I know speak German as their first language, and me knowing German is also very marketable in that way. And so I think that teaching abroad for me will be pretty easy.
Yeah, we had some clips I want to show on the screen, and maybe coming up later, and you may want to describe how you got involved and what they mean.
Okay.
So they'll be coming up later, but you may want to tell us what is coming up.
So
what have you provided for my?
Yeah, we talked a little bit about my singles that are coming, or that are already out.
Okay.
So I have music, as I said earlier, on all streaming platforms and all buying, like music buying platforms as well, like Spotify, iTunes, Tidal, YouTube, Google Play, stuff like that. So.
So you have been writing for quite some time, didn't you?
Yeah, I actually just published these singles this year, but I'm also planning on releasing an album pretty soon with those singles on there. So, yeah.
Well, how do they find you with your stage name?
Yeah, so my stage name is John Doe, no H, so Jondoe. It's all lowercase. My 3 singles are called Tsunami,
Okay.
Can't Find Love, and Bluff. And they each have different capitalization in each. So Tsunami has an A that's capitalized instead of the T. Bluff has the L capitalized instead of the B, and then Can't Find Love has only the L capitalized for love. So yeah, those are my singles that are currently out right now.
Yeah, so Salami, how'd you happen to, what is the meaning?
Tsunami.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to get people interested.
Yeah, so Tsunami, I wrote about how you have a friendship with someone, but all of a sudden you realize that you're starting to have feelings for them in a romantic way. And so so Tsunami is kind of just talking about like, like when you have a tsunami, you're overpowered by water, or like, you're kind of like, at its mercy. And so that's why I named that song Tsunami.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's so that the people will get a true meaning. Of course, actually, you do have a write-up about the song, though, too, on your Facebook, and not Facebook, but
Instagram and Facebook, yeah.
Yeah.
And Twitter
Okay.
as well.
Okay. So that is fantastic. I don't know. I had a class motto in high school: "In ourselves, our future lies." So this is kind of way I can, you in yourself, your future lies, right? You're not depending on anyone else but God, you know. But this is how you will be successful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right. I mentioned about that because you have role models that you look towards, that you like to be like. Or is this just John Doe?
No, I have several role models. Some of them being family members, other people being famous already. I'd like to maybe focus a little bit more on my dad. He just recently passed, but he was a DJ, and he was able to play just about any wind or brass instrument known to man.
Wow.
So he was very talented, and he raised my siblings and I to also be.
I didn't know him. Was he active in the community?
Yeah, up until he was disabled. He had a stroke when I was pretty young. But yeah, he was very, very, very musically inclined. Maybe not as a singer, for sure, but definitely in other ways. And same thing too, like with my mom. She's very talented in music as well. She used to be singing background for people and singing in choirs and directing in churches and stuff. And so she was very also musically inclined. So I guess it was kind of supposed to happen for all of us to, be so involved in music. But also, yeah, I look up to other people as well. I look up to many, many famous artists, whether it's because of how they carry themselves or how they sing vocally. Anything, honestly, it's really cool to just have those mentors, whether you know them or not. Even my voice teachers at Southern, Dr. Kibble and Dr. Penner, they're all very, very incredible women who love music and are teaching. and I look up to them very much so as well.
The great poet Henry Wadsworth Longfellow and lives of great men all remind us we can make our lives sublime and departing, leaving behind us footprints on the sands of time. And so that's the reason I asked about the role models, you know, and this is what you have exemplified that too. That you have role models in your family,
Yeah.
you know, that you would like to, you know, promote yourself. But tell us a little about the history of music. We have all types of music, but give us a little bit about the history.
Yeah, I mean, music has been a thing since forever.
The
You know,
beginning of time. I
yeah,
guess.
the beginning of time. But as far as I've studied at Southern, you know, you have the different time periods of, you know, like classical and Baroque and romantic, you know, just things like that, and just seeing the progression of how music has come today. I mean, we wouldn't have the music that we have now. Like, I wouldn't be able to make the music I'm making without, you know, all the genres that have come before me.
Okay.
And it's really interesting to just see like how different composers influenced others, and all up until this point of now we have, you know, pop music and R&B and rock, country, and they all stemmed from these genres of music. So yeah.
So actually, in your study in college, the history of music is in the curriculum, right?
Correct. Yes,
Yeah.
it's very heavy in our curriculum.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I always remember three types of people in the world, and they're those that make things happen, and those that watch things happen. Then there's others that wonder what's happening. You know? And I'll say, in your field of music, you have to be one that make things happen, right?
Right, because nobody's gonna do it for you. You have to pursue it yourself, and if people are for it, they'll join you.
Right.
For sure.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The one that you had, Bluff. Tell us about the Bluff. I didn't.
Oh yeah, so bluff is just basically talking about how you're more or less in a relationship with someone, and like a romantic relationship, and you don't feel as if the relationship is as real as you thought it was before. And so it's more of a heartbreak song, because you're kind of, I guess, like how you were saying, like you're wondering what's happening, you know. So.
But you're definitely not in that group, you know.
Yeah. At least I'd hope not. You know? But that's the premise of Bluff.
You know, then in your study of the Bible, there's the black presence in the Bible. Do you have a history of the Bible too at your college?
Yeah, like they have us take certain classes.
Is one blacks in the Bible? A lot of people don't realize. No?
In fact, it's not.
Because there's a definite black presence in the Bible. You know, right from the beginning though. We go right from man made from dust of the earth, right? And I've never seen any white dust, right? You know, but all through the Bible there's black presence, and I was wondering whether that was in the curriculum or not, you know.
Unfortunately, it's not. I wish I knew more about that.
Yeah, right. Well, you go back and check. Well, you don't have to go back to Tennessee. You can go to Google, black presence in the Bible.
Right.
And you'll find out that, be surprised at the number of people that in the Bible that are black, you know. So it wasn't Bathsheba that was You know,
Yeah.
the people playing the role of Bathsheba, you know, and this type of thing. She was black, but you won't find a black person paying her in the Bible, you know.
Sure.
But I just mentioned that because you going to a Bible college there, and I was wondering how well prepared did Shalem prepare you for college?
I think Shalem prepared me quite a bit, but I would say more so my academy that I went to the last 2 years of my secondary education. But I feel like Shalem definitely had really good good things that talked about education. I mean, my mom was the education. She was like over education things at Shalem, and so she was always making sure that people were reading good books. They knew about scholarships, that they knew about really anything that was to know about college. But I feel like in terms of actually gearing up to know what it's like to be in college and how to do college well, I think I learned that a lot more when I was at my academy, because I was away from home and I was experiencing what it would be like to have to study and you know, just being away and all those things. Like it's different being in the fire and then learning about being in the fire. You know, it's a lot different.
You mentioned about the academy. You said the last 2 years.
Yes, the last 2 years of my high school.
Of your high school. Yeah. How did you determine to go to the academy? Was it provided from the church or what?
So somebody who goes to my church went there when he was in high school.
Oh.
And so my first 2 years, I went to Lake County Baptist School, which is, you know, here.
Yeah.
And then I also went to Hinsdale Adventist Academy my sophomore year. But that academy was actually a day academy, so I would have to take the train from Hinsdale back to Waukegan every day. So I was like, I don't want to do that. But then, you know, the church member told us about the school that I went to, Wisconsin Academy. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll go there. And I was wanting to go there all 4 years, but I don't think it was as feasible as I thought. But I'm so glad that I went.
Okay. Well, okay, now, again, how did you select Southern?
So I
Is it
selected
because it was Seventh-day Adventist college?
Somewhat, but also just because of the scholarship opportunities that I was able to receive there.
Okay.
I think I got like 20,000 my first year, around 20,000.
Wow.
So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go there. But I would say, like, too, I think Adventism had some part to play in it.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was the main reason. I think it was mainly because of scholarships and because I knew that they had my major.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, speaking of scholarships, so I received an academic scholarship from high school too, to Illinois State. You know, $40 a semester.
$40
a semester.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's about 10,000 now.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's what the scholarship opportunity was. I was happy to get that. You know, this time.
For sure.
Yep. But tell us about Shalem, though. 1109, is that at Pine Street? You know,
1105, yeah.
1105, okay. I got it. Tell us about the opportunity there for that it presents to the community, or to the church, I guess. You know.
Yeah. So personally, I have not been around this area enough to really speak on that because I've been at Southern. I only come back for breaks to be with family, and then I, you know, we'll go to Shalem, you know, on the weekends sometimes. But I know of you know, opportunities that we've had in the past to help those in need in the community. So like feeding the homeless and collecting gifts for children who don't have any like Christmas presents, or collecting food for Thanksgiving. I mean, Thanksgiving is you know, tomorrow for us, you know, and you know, things like that. Just you know, helping out at food banks and collecting clothing for those who also need that as well. I think those are some things that I've definitely seen Shalem do. I've also wanted to start like a program where we do more mission trips. I haven't started it yet, but I would like to speak to the pastor about it and see what he thinks, just to help too. But I know that we're doing a lot of things in the community to help.
Our listening audience, I'm sure, are very interested in about your accomplishments, and I know you probably, and they only can get it from you, because I didn't realize the things that you were doing, because you're not one of my kids' contemporaries, right? Because my baby daughter graduated in '82. What do you graduate?
From high school?
Yeah.
I graduated in 2012.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You're definitely not a contemporary. But I hadn't heard of your accomplishments, so I have to lean on you. And you have this opportunity now on Community Forum to talk a little bit more about your accomplishments.
Yeah, I mean, as I said earlier, I've been to a lot of countries, I've learned a lot of languages, and met a lot of people. I will be, as far as I know, the second person in my family to get a college degree when I graduate.
Okay.
My mom is the other person, so
Okay.
that's a big deal to know. Yeah, I mean, I think about other accomplishments, and I don't know. I mean,
Your favorite country, though, your favorite country that you...
Favorite country, that's so hard to pick. I have two, if you'll allow me to say both.
Okay.
Italy and Sweden.
Ah.
Sorry, Norway. I love Sweden, but Norway is the other one that I, yeah, Sweden. Yeah, Sweden is close. But yeah.
Now you were playing there, or singing, or what you...
So
studying, or what you...
So the second time that I left the States, I went on a choir tour to Finland, Sweden, and Norway. And in turn, I learned about the culture there, and I also got to sing for several hundred people in a choir. You know, the choir that I was in, that I still am in, this like the whole time that I've been at Southern. Okay. Which is E Cantori. It's the traveling choir at Southern Adventist University. And that was actually my freshman year, so that was like a huge thing, because I was like, wow, I'm a freshman, I got in this group, that's number one, but then I'm also able to take this opportunity to go to Europe and sing. Yeah. I think that was a big deal. And so that's how I was able to go to those countries. I've been to Sweden another time too, but that was when I was studying abroad. I was visiting actually one of my friends who I met when I was in Pompeii. Yeah, he and I met because we were teaching on the same island, but he is Swedish, and so when I went to Sweden, I was able to reconnect with him, and it was really cool. So,
you know, are you fond of ukulele? Do you play ukulele very much?
I do. I play it all the time.
Oh, is that right?
Because you can't take a piano everywhere, you know, but you can take an ukulele everywhere. Okay. And so I've kept up with it for sure. Actually, one of my songs on the album is ukulele.
Oh, okay.
Centered. So I'm really excited for people to hear that, and it's a really awesome instrument. It's really fun. It's really simple as well, and I think that it's something that can bring people together because it's really cute, and so people wanna. They're drawn to cuteness, you know. So like, oh, like you play that, and it sounds nice. So, yeah.
Well, you're a senior now, right?
Yes.
And so what are your goals now for upon graduation?
I would like to study for my master's in Germany.
You plan to continue?
Yes, I would
Yeah,
like to get my
right,
master's
right,
in
right.
something choral related, like choral conducting or something along those lines. And then I would like to then teach over there. But yeah,
There, overseas?
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I'm looking into schools in Leipzig, Germany. That's a really big art music community because several composers have come from Leipzig or have lived there for certain amounts of time, and so like it's a really big community for that kind of music, and so that's why I would like to go and study.
This is fantastic. Hearing about your career, I've been knowing your mother for a long time, but I didn't know. Of course, but you're not one of my kids' contemporaries, so I wouldn't know. You know, and
Sure.
then you've been away
Right.
for most of the time. Now your other siblings, are they into music too? And
Absolutely. My sister, I think, is the best singer in the
Oh,
whole
my
family.
now, what church? She's at also Seventh-day Adventist.
She's not.
Salem.
She's not. My mom and I are actually the only Adventists now in our family.
Oh, okay, okay.
But my sister is still in the church.
And which church? I might have to go see her.
Oh, I don't know. She's in Chicago somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because she has her family and my brother has his family, so they
Okay.
in Chicago. So we.
Okay.
Yeah, but she plays clarinet as well. She's very talented. My brother is a bass player, probably the best bass player you'll ever hear, honestly. And I'm not saying that just because he's my brother.
Yeah.
I'm saying that because it's true.
Well, he hasn't met my daughter Yolanda yet. She's a bass player.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
she-
Well, I'll have to hear, not necessarily compare,
no,
but
she's not that caliber though. She's a bass player.
but yeah, he's dedicated his life to playing bass. He's really good at it. He plays drums as well and he sings.
Oh.
So yeah, they're pretty involved in music for sure.
Oh, this is
Absolutely.
So I guess Thanksgiving is going to be a great time for they have their own families though, so they coming down for Thanksgiving.
Well, I think all of us are doing different things, but we'll
Yeah,
try and
yeah.
still link up at different times during this week, and even especially during Christmas.
Uh-huh.
So I would say probably just more so like, yeah, just something along those lines.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I've really enjoyed this, and I cannot overemphasize the importance of family life in your achievement, and I think you've been leaning on that too. You know,
Absolutely.
You cannot overemphasize that, and I just had so much talk about you, and I said, well, let me give him a call, and I enjoyed you on the radio program. You did a great
Yes.
job. But I say 30 minutes just was not enough. You know, so I had to have you come back on Community Forum and talk to us about your career, and I'm very impressed.
Thank
Very,
you.
very
It's been an
impressed.
awesome
Yeah.
opportunity to.
How important is it to have a stage name? You know, yours is John Doe. That's Jon Doe, D-O-E. How important it is to have a stage name?
Well, so because I'm kind of also trying to go after possibly being famous for my original music. For me personally, the name John Doe kind of gives people a sense of mystery, but also
Yeah.
like it's spelled in the way that my actual name is spelled. And so it's still letting them in to know who I am, and my music hopefully does that as well. But it's also to kind of just say like, you know, you may know this about me or these things, but you may not know this, or like who, I don't know. I don't want to say like the real me, because I still am implementing that into my music
Okay.
and who I am still as with the stage name. But it's just to give kind of like the, I don't know, more of a, I wouldn't say like an illusion, but just kind of like that that barrier of, hey, like, you know this about me, but you don't know everything. And even myself, you know, even me myself, I'm trying to still figure out everything about myself. So
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, this is fantastic. Well, you sing, you play ukulele, and
piano as well.
Oh, piano. We didn't mention piano. How? I guess you learned piano first, right? I guess.
Yes, I learned when I was around the age of 3 or 4, taking
Right,
lessons,
right,
and
right.
I didn't like it at first, but
Right.
I saw how important it was to have those lessons and to have that background, because, like I said earlier, music connects people, and piano has been a really big help in my life, because if I've ever felt sad or if I've ever felt happy or anything that I'm feeling, I go to the piano. I don't sing, or I don't go to the ukulele, I go to the piano, because that's
Okay.
what I knew first.
Right.
And it's something that has really helped me in any time if I'm feeling whatever, you know, I just go to the piano and I just play, and it makes me feel better, or yeah. So
I have a grandson in Chicago that writes music, and so that's when I was really attracted by you and writing. What prepped your intuition to start writing music? In other words, how do you develop the writing skill?
I think it takes a certain kind of person to write. I see myself as a very melancholy person, and I think that with being melancholy comes good writing, because you're able to tune into a lot of emotions and be able to write about them in an art form. And so I think that has helped me in a lot of ways, because when I'm feeling sad or happy about something, and if I write about it, and then I'm like, oh, I can make this into a song, and then or I just start the writing process of a song because of those emotions. And I think some of the rawest music comes from those kinds of people, or from those kinds of sessions of just writing down, you know, what you're feeling, and what you want people to view it as. I think that's very important too, is not just writing, but knowing how it's going to be consumed, and writing it so that people can identify with it as well.
And then too, you have to be very passionate about, and you've shown that. There's no doubt about that. But I want to emphasize that a person has to be passionate about what he's doing. Otherwise, you're not going to be a success.
Yeah, you can't do anything well and not love it, or not want people to connect with it.
Okay.
And so, like you said, yeah, passion is definitely a huge contributor to success in music, in paintings, in anything, sculptures, whatever you find yourself doing in an art form, you have to be passionate about it, for sure.
And even if I may just be personal, the hosting a show, radio and TV show, this has been happening since 1990, 93 for TV. And if it wasn't a passion of mine, no way would I have been on air this long, right?
Right.
It'd
I
be a
would have to
passion.
agree.
Right. We mentioned about unusual time spent in practicing, but you may write early in the morning or evening or whatever. It's not a 9-to-5 job.
Right.
I'm getting it. You know.
Right. I write whenever I feel the need. sometimes I like will be driving, and then I'll think of something, and I'll have to like pull over because I just have to like write down what I just thought of, and I was like, wow, that's a really good line, or that's a really good lyric, or a really good song idea. Sometimes I'm doing homework or practicing for my studies, and then I'm like, oh, but this is like a really good idea that I want to write down. I don't want to forget it because it could touch somebody's life, and if I'm robbing them of that by not writing it down, I feel like that's kind of
at least some bullet points.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
then you could go back and
Right.
put it together when you
Yeah, I
get
feel like general ideas are very, very crucial in writing good music because you'll see what you wrote about, and then you're like, oh yeah, and then you can elaborate and expound on what you're writing about. And so,
Right. Well, I want to thank you again for your time, and you got a great day planned for tomorrow. I mentioned a great day because our youngest daughter is preparing dinner, the venue, you know, for I don't know how many people coming over, but
okay.
But I don't have to do any cooking because my wife, of course, she got to cook the peach cobbler and the what they call the chitterlings and greens. I guess she's make that contribution. But my baby daughter is so we have that planned for Thanksgiving, and you and Mom.
Yeah, we'll be with family as well and eating and enjoying time with everyone. So.
Yeah. But your Chicago family is still will be with their families in Chicago. Right?
Yeah, we'll be all intermingling everywhere. You know, people have different stops to go to. So,
will singing be involved?
Of course.
Yeah.
It's not even a question.
Right.
I don't think I could escape it if I wanted to. So yeah, it'll definitely be there for sure.
So you're here until the weekend, I guess.
And then back to school to finish up the semester.
Right. And then back again Christmas.
Right.
Back Christmas.
For a short period, and then
this is
traveling.
Fantastic. I'm very overjoyed that I think it's not by accident, you know, that we met, and I guess this is you're not contemporaries of my kids, so I wouldn't have met you.
Sure.
Cause you were young. These 2012 out of high school. High school. Now, do you ever visit high school and to get acquainted with to see how things are?
I've visited a few times. I feel like it's less likely for me to keep visiting because most of the educators I had when I was there have moved. Yeah. Most of them. I think only like one or two are still left.
Thank you very much, John Doe.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking with John Doe, stage name. He's a senior at Southern Adventist University, Collegedale, Tennessee, and he's been sharing with us his musical career, vocal, piano, and ukulele. And he's taking time from his busy schedule during this Thanksgiving weekend to be with us, and we certainly appreciate it. This has been Community Forum. My name is Dr. Waddell Brooks Sr., your host.